This news program is proudly brought to you by Smart Start Breakfast Biscuits and Now Biscuits.
Youths encouraged to remember forefathers. Former Army commander on treaty negotiation. And country's largest shipping vessel received at Leh. A very good evening. This is National EMTV News. I'm Natasha Ovoy. Thank you for joining us. In remembrance of late Grand Chief Sir Michael Somare, Prime Minister James Marape is calling on the youths to ponder on the life of such a great man and ask themselves on what they can do for their country.
As the country comes together to commemorate the life of late Grand Chief Sir Michael Somare, Prime Minister Marape reflected on Grand Chief's life.
To appeal to all of us. Somare was only but 36 when he talked about independence, or when he ushered in our self-government. At 39, he became Prime Minister. He was a young man in his 30s, so if you're a young man in your 30s running around, restless, ask yourself, what are you contributing to the country? Our government here has opened a path for you to participate in the non-resource sector of our economy. If you have no land in Port Moresby, go back home, pick up the land and work the land.
He said the 1970 generation for this country depended mostly on agriculture, which is the one mining to support the country.
The 1970 generations were agricultural generations. They built this country the backdrop of hard work and agriculture. There was no mining except Panguna in 1975. This country was sustained at the backdrop of agriculture, and now we're throwing fisheries into the picture. These two twin will carry the country and be a place of mass employment and mass economic activity.
Marape encouraged the young men in their 30s to work with the government and the society to hold the country together.
Out to our citizens, if you are a young man at age 35 or in your 30s, you and me have a greater responsibility. You have half of your life ahead, and you're now fathering children. I want you to take leadership. I appeal to Papuans in that age bracket because it was Somare and St. Julius and their generation. They were men in their late 20s and 30s who carved this country out. It is this generation who are very active today. I ask you, work with government, work with society, and let's hold this country together. And start by respecting our mothers and daughters and children amongst us. And in doing that, we can all contribute to a better country.
He said such Remembrance Day must be used by the younger generation to ponder on the lives of great men who did great for the country in their 20s and 30s. Samantha Solomon, National EMTV News.
Prime Minister James Marape visited Wewak today as part of his official engagements in Isipik province, mainly centered on honoring the legacy of the late Grand Chief Sir Michael Somare.
Prime Minister Marape arrived at Boram Airport during midday today, where he was welcomed with a guard of honor from the PNG Defence Force. From the airport, Prime Minister proceeded under escort to Villa Viak at Kria Heights, the final resting place of the late Grand Chief Sir Michael Somare. There, Arthur Somare, representing the Somare family, formally welcomed the Prime Minister before leading a wreath-laying ceremony in honor of the father of the nation. Following the solemn tribute, Prime Minister Marape met with Isipik provincial leaders at Village Inn, where discussions focused on key provincial matters. His visit reaffirms the government's commitment to engaging with local leaders and preserving the legacy of Papua New Guinea's founding fathers. Esther Gane, National EMTV News.
Meanwhile, Divinewood University students paid tribute to honor and commemorate the life and legacy of the nation's founding father, late Grand Chief Sir Michael, today.
The event was hosted by the Student Representative Council and Student Services. SRC President Mark Coy Malt emphasized the significance of remembering national leaders like the late Sir Michael. He highlighted Sir Michael's pivotal role in leading the nation to independence and his unwavering stance against corruption. Malt encouraged the Papua New Guineans to always remember such figures like Sir Michael and the key roles he played in shaping the nation. The program includes poem reading by students, song performances, and presentation of the late Sir Michael's biography. The students also watched documentary videos that highlighted the life and legacy of the Grand Chief. As a sign of mourning and respect, all students and staff wore black throughout the event. The event was conducted in a respectful and meaningful manner, with students showcasing their talents to honor the late leader. Lauren Jimal, National EMTV News.
As Tropical Cyclone Alfred intensifies to Category 2, located approximately 418 kilometers south-southeast of Sudeste Island in Milne Bay Province, storm surges of 2 to 4.5 meters are expected along the coastlines of Milne Bay Province and its islands, along with Central, Gulf, and Western provinces. This was advised by the PNG Weather Service. A storm surge is the abnormal rise in the sea level during a storm. It was noted that the storm surge caused by Tropical Cyclone Alfred has the potential to cause severe coastal flooding in low-lying areas. Strong winds are also advised for coastal waters of Kiwai Islands all the way to Port Moresby, as well as for Finchafan through Vitiers Dampier Strait to Medang to the northern PNG-Indonesian border, including East and West New Britain to the autonomous region of Bougainville. Areas of Western, Gulf, and Sidio Central, Milne Bay, Oro, West and East New Britain, along with Manus, East and West Sepik provinces and Bougainville, are expected to experience moderate to heavy rain with the potential to cause riverine and flash flooding. All small crafts and boats are advised to take necessary precautions or avoid going out to sea, especially over the warning areas. And villages along the coastlines of the warning areas are also advised to take necessary precautions to avoid danger. Meanwhile, the Bureau of Meteorology as of this afternoon noted that the Category 2 Tropical Cyclone Alfred is about 930 kilometers northeast of Mackay in Queensland, Australia, tracking slowly through the Coral Sea. The country's first largest shipping vessel to reach our shores was received at Lae's tidal basin. The record 262-meter-long vessel arrived around 3 p.m. yesterday at the Lae port.
The international shipping vessel CMA-CGMA Perth's maiden voyage onto our shores marks an important stage in the country's progress. PNG Port CEO Neil Pappenfirst said the modernization and expansion of the tidal basin have increased PNG's trade capacity, boosting economic development.
Today we welcome the CGM Perth and Lae tidal basin, which I believe is the largest container vessel ever to visit our shores. And this marks a significant milestone in our commitment to strengthening maritime trade, enhancing supply chain efficiency and fostering economic growth in Papua New Guinea. The arrival of the CMA-CGM Perth is more than just an introduction of a new vessel. It represents progress, enhanced connectivity and the confidence that global shipping partners continue to place in our port infrastructure. The Lae tidal port's modernisation and expansion, together with world-class terminal operations by ICTSI, have increased PNG's trade capacity, boosting economic development. It supports employment and local business, directly and indirectly benefiting thousands of people.
Recent infrastructural improvements, including the installment of bollards, has extended the quay length beyond its original 240 meters, allowing larger vessels to dock safely and efficiently. PNG Ports Chairman further acknowledged the Marape Rosso government's support towards the investment of the Port of Lae.
The arrival of this vessel is a positive development, reflecting the returns on our investments in the Port of Lae and the Lae Tidal Basin. It underscores the trust that major international shipping lines have in our port facilities and in ICTSI, the operator of Lae Tidal Basin. On behalf of the Board of PNG Ports Corporation, the management and staff of PNG Ports, I extend my gratitude to the Marape Rosso government for the continuous support to PNG Ports, specifically to the Minister for State Enterprises, Honorable William Duma.
Lae Port Expansion Project, the tidal basin, is set to receive a further extension of the quay line by another 150 meters, supported by the Australian government. Meanwhile, the gearless vessel will be loading 1,000 empty containers to China. Jessica Nui, National EMTV News, Lae.
Former Army Commander Jerry Singirok warned that Papua New Guinea's national principle of friends to all and enemy to none must take center stage in its geopolitical stance. He gave his opinion on the government's ongoing negotiation for a defense treaty with Australia.
In an exclusive interview with EMTV Today, retired Major General Jerry Singirok, who was the commander of the army during Bougainville crisis and Sandline affairs, said there has to be a clear picture on where PNG stands when it comes to defense agreements. He said PNG must first identify who is its common enemy before getting into a defense treaty.
The only other condition is that Australia has a moral obligation to make sure that the region is safe. And this is where the defense agreement with Australia and PNG comes in. Our enemy, a perceived enemy, is not necessarily the same as Australia, vice versa. To speculate that Australia's enemy is our common enemy is wrong. So we need to question some of the hard questions. Who is the common enemy?
Mr. Singirok warned that there is a danger when PNG may be caught up in another country's pathway and their national interest, and it may overshadow PNG.
Keeping in mind that the principles that our forefathers had laid down is that Papua New Guinea is friends to all, enemy to none. And that's the cornerstone of our foreign relations. And USA, which is an alliance of ANZUS alliance, see the emergence of the superpower of China in the Pacific Basin. So that's why this presence of the US military base in mountains also raises that question: who is the real enemy?
However, he also highlighted the rewards of signing a defense treaty with Australia. Mr. Singirok said interoperability of weapon systems and intelligence sharing would be good for PNG.
But more importantly, I think Australia and PNG must make sure that the region is safe. And that is why we need to invest more in intelligence gathering. We need to fight drug cartels, illegal immigrants, money laundering, to make sure that our maritime borders are safe, our land borders are also safe. And it can only happen when we have joint exercises, when we share intelligence, and this is for the common good of the region.
Meanwhile, Australia and Papua New Guinea announced last week that both countries have begun negotiations on the treaty in a bid that could have major implications for national security and Pacific's strategic landscapes. Pakatambua, National EMTV News.
National EMTV News continues after the break. Stay with us. You're watching National EMTV News. Police Commander for the National Capital District and Central Province, Benjamin Turi, addressed the media yesterday, emphasizing the need for police in the Metropolitan Command to step up their efforts.
Turi expressed concern over a lack of direction and leadership from the zone commanders and police station commanders in NCD, stating that this deficiency is impacting the overall performance of the force.
By June, we will review everybody again. Those who have not been making arrests, station commanders who fail, as I told them that there is not going to be any more promotion this year, there will be demotion this year. People start working. We have a duty because of the number of officers we have is low, and every commander must be taking the lead and leading in front, not to be in the house or driving too much in the vehicle. So all these instructions were passed down to them this morning.
ACP Turi said he directly warned all police station commanders, including the Metropolitan Superintendent of NCD, to pull up their socks and ensure that proper leadership and clear instructions are provided to their teams.
And a number of them were transferred out of the current stations there. So I gave a transfer directive this morning. I went to headquarters, drove all these to the people in headquarters. And they have all received, I called one by one, telling them with the transfer orders, you move to this station, you move to this station. A number of station commanders has been moved. Some has been removed and attached now to be dealt with by way of discipline charges.
He highlighted that without effective command, the force would struggle to meet its responsibilities to the public. In addition to his concerns about leadership, Turi also raised an issue regarding the use of vehicles by police officers. He revealed that certain hire vehicles currently in use by the police were not officially sanctioned by the police department. This situation, he noted, was not only a logistical problem, but also a matter of concern for the integrity and accountability of the police force.
The department doesn't pay for the hire cars. I don't know where they collect their money. So I even asked them to provide me the list. They can't even provide me the list for the last how many months now.
Turi issued a direct warning to all police officers, instructing them to immediately return any unsanctioned hire vehicles and to ensure that only police-issued vehicles are used for official duties.
I'm giving instruction now to every section. We'll have less car, and hire cars will be reduced, and the department will be replacing them, and our MPs are replacing both Central and NCD. So 2 provinces here.
Louis Maingu, National EMTV News.
Managing Director of Mineral Resources Authority, Jerry Gary, has challenged all stakeholders under the mining industry to consider landowners of project-impacted areas in every decision they make.
Mr. Gary said landowners must be given priority as their lifestyle needs to be improved.
Are we doing enough for our landowners and the people, the community that have technically look after the land that we, with the resources that we harvest today? Have we given them enough? Have we seen any tangible changes to their lifestyle at the expense of the extraction or not?
He calls on the stakeholders to introduce some form of social license fee in the law so that the project can look after community development agendas, especially the mining impacted communities.
As you all know, we have a scheme called tax credit scheme, which is really part of tax government money that goes to, has been utilized by some companies that are in a taxable position to roll out community obligations? Can we introduce something in law so that the mining project can look after our people?
Mineral Resources Authority will restructure its process in the event the 2025 bill gets through.
If this bill gets through, it will mean that the MRA will need to readjust itself, meaning that we will have to restructure ourselves, our processes to accommodate any new changes. So effectively, if it comes on stream, it may take a year or two. We may try to accommodate the changes as seamless as we can, but there will be some major structural adjustment to accommodate.
Esther Gane, National EMTV News.
Following the ongoing killings and violence against women and girls in PNG, the President of Catholic Bishop Conference, His Lordship Bishop Otto Saperi, has called for a collaborative effort from all individuals to address these issues in the country.
Every one of us, whether we be bishops or whoever, as a Papua New Guinean, we don't want violence in our country, in our society. But that is now going out of proportion. So it's a concern to us bishops, it's a concern to every citizen of Papua New Guinea. So we all must stand united to fight this corruption and violence. We bishops alone cannot do it. It's a, what we call, united way of doing it. So we are very concerned. The violence going on mostly against women and girls. It's a concern for us, and we are going to discuss in our AGM in April this year. So after that, maybe something will come out.
In his recent visit to Honiara, Solomon Islands, for the Fisheries Summit, Prime Minister James Marape has strongly called the neighboring countries and other countries to help Papua New Guinea in combating illegal fishing.
Upon Prime Minister's arrival from the Solomon Island this morning, he addressed the media on his two countries' visit. He said 2.7 million square kilometers of waters of PNG produces close to 20% tuna supply to the world.
On fisheries, the country needs to know we are a big block of fish-producing nation. Our 2.7 million square kilometers of waters, our EEZ, produces close to 20% of world's tuna supply. The entire Pacific put together produces above 50% of world's tuna supply.
He outlined one of the issues that's affecting the fisheries sector in the Pacific and PNG, and further called to the neighboring countries and those present in the summit to assist in combating illegal fishing in the country.
I know who they are. I did call out all countries who were present there, USA, China, Japan, Australia, Indonesia, Philippines, Thailand, and I asked them, assist us stop illegal fishing.
He said these groups are lessening the fisheries industry.
These are the groups that are depleting the fisheries in the Pacific, Central and Western Pacific waters. The world is concerned that this fish stock may be depleted. Other fish stock in other waters are being depleted as we speak. Our water remains the last water that is still healthy for not just tuna, but major fish stocks in the world, so to speak.
Marape further called to bilateral partners to stop illegal fishing, as it is the biggest contributor to unsustainable fishing in the Pacific waters.
It asked our major nations who are observers in Pacific Island Forum, nations that assist us stop illegal fishing by use of satellite imaging, as well as tracing for those who are fishing illegally, where they bring their fish back. They bring the fish back to China, China you stop. You tell them you're doing wrong. If they bring the fish to Philippines, Philippines government assists us telling them you're doing wrong. If they bring the fish back to Indonesia, Indonesia government. They bring back to Thailand, Thailand government. I'm just using some name as a case in point. So I did call strongly for our bilateral partners to assist stop illegal fishing. That is a big this illegal fishing is a big contributor to unsustainable fishing in Pacific waters.
Samantha Solomon, National EMTV News.
With months counting down to PNG's 50th independence celebration, Prime Minister James Marape, in a recent visit to Australia, retrieved some important documents and visuals for the country's pre-independence and post-independence.
Prime Minister James Marape said his trip to Australia was to start the conversations on the 50th anniversary program.
Start the conversations on the 50th year program that should culminate in September 16th celebrations, as well as a run-through from this year September 16th to next year September 16th, when we go through our 50th year programs in that year coming up.
What inspired him when going through the archival was the speech of Gough Whitlam on 16 September 1975.
Moving contact with PNG history, one of them in my own highlight that has enriched me is to hear the words of Sir Gough Whitlam, the Prime Minister who bettered our country at the archives of Australian Broadcasting Commission and Broadcasting Corporation, rather. And to hear the words uttered September 16, 1975 was a very touching speech that resonates very well up till today.
He said points such as PNG emerged as a nation while Australia continues to be the strong friend to PNG are some of the speeches that inspired him most during his visit.
The pointers that Gough Whitlam mentioned was that Papua New Guinea has now emerged as a nation. The flag is lowered and not torn down. Australia will remain a friend with PNG every step of the way through, but PNG would carve out its own foreign policy outlook as being better as a nation. They have the rights to relate to other nations around, but Australia will still remain a strong support to PNG all the way through. And I just thought that was good. I looked at some of our earlier independent or pre-independent photos taken by ABC.
He said the collection of audios and visuals will continue in preparation for the upcoming event on the 16th of September this year.
Compiling every materials we can collect on pre-independence history and both audio as well as visual as well as recorded reports on PNG, and then right through from 1975 up till today from different point of our registries. And so ABC has a rich history of our country's past before 75 and right up 75 up till today. And that contact with the archives was important. Spent a good hour there.
Prime Minister also said the Gough Whitlam Foundation was renamed Sumari Whitlam Foundation for the Australian Awards program. Samantha Solomon, National EMTV News.
PMV buses in Lae City, Morobe Province, have gone on strike as of yesterday, following an alleged incident of police brutality leading to the death of a bus crew.
General public in Lae, including students and public servants, were left to struggle over transportation after owners and drivers of PMV buses went on strike yesterday morning. Sources say the strike is believed to be over an alleged incident where a crew has died. Acting Lae Metropolitan Superintendent James Luan has dismissed the allegations. However, he said the strike may be a result of the court handing down hefty penalties for traffic offences. Chief Commander Luan said police units are closely monitoring the situation. Today, there were only a few buses servicing the main city routes. We will bring you more updates on this as the events unfold. Jessica Nui, National EMTV News, Lae.
National EMTV News continues after the break. Stay with us. You're watching National EMTV News. In a historic move for the country's forestry sector, Isipik province is taking a bold step towards sustainability and economic growth as the PNG Forest Authority launches 3 projects in the province.
A momentous occasion unfolded at the Isipik Provincial Office, where the Papua New Guinea Forest Authority yesterday welcomed Public Service Minister Joe Sungi and its Managing Director John Mosoro on behalf of the state to witness the launching of the 3 projects. PNG FA Director officially declared that the first forest carbon trading platform in Papua New Guinea will be established in Isipik Province. He said it paves way for carbon trading, offering new economic opportunities while promoting sustainable forest management. Also made known was the conversion of the Hawaiian LFA project into a forest management agreement area, emphasizing that this means better regulation and long-term planning for the region's forest. The Ted Den project was the proposed plan for the first downstreaming processing facility for forest and wood products in the province. Apart from the Kandu Anum plywood processing facility, this new facility will help create jobs, add value to raw materials, and strengthen the forestry industry. Mosoro said with these initiatives, Isipik is positioning itself as a leader in sustainable forestry, balancing economic development with environmental conservation. Claire Mauta, National EMTV News.
The Bomana Correctional Institute in Port Moresby opened its prison ministry programs for the year today. Today saw the opening for the spiritual programs of the Bomana Prison Ministry. The event was officiated with worship led by the Teshuva Trumpet Worship Center. Prison ministry is one of the successful rehabilitation practices facilitated at the Bomana Correctional Institute for inmates, as noted by the acting chaplain, Inspector Nelly Gairi. Among programs anticipated for the year, the inspector highlighted an aim for the ministry.
One of the main highlights that we have in the ministry is we're trying to build a chapel where we're having partners and everybody that are trying to come in to build a chapel. So we are gearing up for that. Current chapel is very small, where it cannot cater for everybody, so some will sit outside. But we're trying to build a bigger one where it can cater for everybody to go into with having fellowship with the families outside.
Now with the launch, the commanding officer welcomes interested fellowship groups wishing to share the good news with inmates.
Continue, and an invitation goes out to all the pastors, churches who are out in the community that wish to like to participate in our programs, particularly religious programs in the institution. They are welcome. Just do a letter, a request to my office, and then we'll start from there.
The commanding officer also noted that about 75% of inmates currently at Bomana take part in the religious programs carried out. Gobo All-Girls School of Excellence in Jimmy District of Jiwaka Province has received a formal approval from the National Education Department to enroll grades 11 and 12.
According to Jimmy Open member Wake Goy, a governing council comprising education, admin governance and business experts will be established in the coming weeks to oversee the school's management and strategic planning. Goy stated that between 5 to 10 million kina has been allocated to the project, with 5 million kina already invested in infrastructures, including the classrooms, teachers' houses, dormitories and ablution blocks. Additionally, construction efforts are underway, including science labs, recreational spaces, and further infrastructure enhancements. It said a generator has been installed to provide electricity and a 4G tower to ensure internet connectivity. He further stated that infrastructure developments also include a newly constructed road linking the school to the main highway, improving accessibility for students and staff. The Jimmy District Development Authority has pledged ongoing financial support, with 5 million kina already spent and another 5 million kina allocated for further development. Jimmy DDA also purchased a vehicle for the school's use. Louis Maingu, National EMTV News.
A looming challenge for the only psychiatric referral hospital in PNG is the shortage of funding to support normal operations. This was expressed by the institution's new CEO, Dr. Ludwig Nanawar. As the only psychiatrist with the Laloki Psychiatric Hospital and now the CEO, Dr. Nanawar noted that the institution still lacks funding.
We're quite short of funds at the moment. We survived on 30,000 kina that was given to us by the deputy director through a National Service Standards Wing.
He went on to highlight what may take place as last resort if funding issues persist.
If we don't get any money from the finance department anytime soon, we might have to end up scaling down the services. We plan to do that by first sending all the postpost patients back to the families, because we cannot keep the patients here and going hungry, which is what we experienced a few weeks ago when we ran low, only to be rescued by the NDOH.
Noting the nature of care their patients require, Dr. Nanawar makes this appeal.
I would like to appeal to whoever is controlling finance department. We're in dire need at the moment. We need our funds to come so that we can keep the operations running. Health department has been helping us with fuel, but I spoke to the Deputy Secretary this morning, and he said they are also grounding all the vehicles because there are no funds to pay for fuel, so they won't help us. So it looks like we are all going down together finance-wise.
As of recent, the psychiatric facility noted around 50+ patients. National EMTV News continues after the break with Chukai Sports. Stay with us.
Chukai Sports.
Welcome to Chukai Sports. The Constantino Group of Companies Netball Team 1 is looking forward for the semi-finals after defeating Maybank 13-4 in a knockout match of the private company's netball competition.
Speaking to Chukai Sports, CGC team representative Lynn Kaso-Kason shared the highlights of the match.
They've been really looking forward to this, and they've actually worked really hard for this. It's been tough for them last year. They didn't make it through to the grand finals. But today they went in there on the first half, and every one of them has given all the best that they could today in the first half. It was a bit neck to neck, but when they got in on the second half, they really gave it their best shot and came up on top of it.
She also emphasized on the key areas to work on.
I think one of the biggest thing today for the girls was the teamwork and determination to come in here as a team and put all their efforts in working as a team, keeping to the plan and to the strategy that we've pulled up today, and it really turned out and panned out well for the girls.
She further encouraged the team and also the upcoming netball fans.
So to the girls, that one good advice that I would give to them coming up is come for it. You know, this is a work-life balance thing. You come out here, but the best advice is that learn from the mistakes that you do, and those mistakes that you do, you improve on them. Focus mentally for the games when you come out here. Although it's a fun thing, we all want to win as well, but team participation and being there for the team is the most important thing that we should do as a team.
Jonathan Sibona, Chukai Sports.
Chukai Sports continues after the break. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports.
You're watching Trukai Sports. The SP Sports Award Selection Panel Chairman, Wawik Vele, said it is important to send through the nominations for the athletes.
He said there are many athletes out there who need recognition.
Things about those categories and the nominations is that, as Madam President called out, we need to see those nominations, we need to see that information coming through. With the online lodgements and nominations, that should make it easier, but we really need to see them come through. There's a lot of unsung heroes, as was mentioned. As the Executive Director said, you know, there's a lot of good work happening out in the communities. We generally tend to recognise our elite athletes, but there's a lot of administrators, a lot of things happening at the community level.
He further elaborated.
I think quite regularly when the nominations and the finalists are read out, there's a common refrain saying, oh, what about this person, what about that person, they should have been there. But we don't make those nominations up, and we can't consider people if they haven't been nominated. So really the encouragement is to have people out there. There's a lot of fantastic work, and one thing that our selection panel really enjoy is looking at those nominations. You know, getting to really understand and appreciate the fantastic work that a lot of our people behind the scenes are doing, not just our elite athletes, but a lot of the stuff that we're all aware of in our own little areas of in the sporting world. But there's a lot of great work, so encourage the nominations to come through.
Jonathan Sibona, Trukai Sports.
And that ends Trukai Sports. The Moni Plus weather report is next. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
This weather update is proudly brought to you by MoniPlus, with you always.
And now looking at the weather report for the next 24 hours for the southern region. Port Moresby City, mostly cloudy with rain showers and drizzles, and Popondetta, rain periods with possible thunderstorms and cloudy.
The weather update was proudly brought to you by MoniPlus, with you always.
And that wraps up the news, sports and weather for Wednesday, the 26th of February, 2025. From all of us here, pleasant viewing and good night.
This news program was proudly brought to you by Smart Start Breakfast Biscuits and Gold Nuggets.